Good afternoon, everyone. Really excited to be here talking about all things about generative AI. Just a little bit about me. First is, I'm a builder and a dreamer at heart. Just like many of you, I've been super excited in being able to build with generative AI. And if you look at my own history, I started as an intern in Amazon more than 18, 20 years ago. And my internship project was to build what turned out to be one of the first cloud computing service, actually. And over the past 2 decades, I had the opportunity to be part of some of the most impactful technology in the tech industry. Sorry, can we go back a slide? I think it's out of sight. Yeah. And the beginning of cloud industry was actually path-breaking in a big way. For the first time in the history, we had compute, storage, became a programmable resource. Then big data systems like database and analytics became programmable. And then we had machine learning, which started from like traditional rule-based systems to linear machine learning, to gradient boosting trees, to deep learning. They all became programmable. And then we entered into the era of generative AI, where large language models took place. And with the era of generative AI discovery, now we are entering a space where AI is now at the center of every boardroom discussion. And every industry is reinventing itself with generative AI. To begin with, in marketing industry, GenAI can automate end-to-end advertising campaigns and enable remarkably hyper-personalized customer experiences. In the healthcare industry, it can support clinicians by listening to patient conversations, summarize clinical notes, and even suggesting imaging modalities to increase the diagnostic accuracy. And then in gaming industry, it can create individualized experience with infinite variation of characters, missions, and interactions based on the individual player actions. And across all these industries, we are seeing a few common themes and use cases emerge that simply wouldn't be possible without generative AI. From significantly enhanced customer experiences through highly intelligent generative AI assistants or personal virtual assistants. To boost in employee productivity with things like conversational search, text summarization, or being able to generate code and coding assistance. And to finally highly optimize business operations through intelligent document processing or being able to do predictive analytics. Just a decade ago, these projects and ideas were just stuff of dreams. And now, they are part of what I call as a new GenAI-powered reality, a reality that often feels like magic, because these LLMs have deep reasoning capabilities, and we can add them to our enterprise applications. And this technology will fundamentally change the way we innovate and build new products. And if you even look at the presentation, what you're seeing right here on the VivaTech stage, all these images have been generated by GenAI. Now, with all of these possibilities, many organizations are asking themselves, how do we actually get started? How do I innovate with generative AI? So, before we get into it, let's look at what is a key look at the technology that is powering every GenAI application. The foundational models. I'm sure that many of you are already experimenting and playing with many of these foundational models. These are large language models or other foundational models. It seems like every day we are learning about yet another new model that got released and new powerful models from companies like Anthropic, Meta, Mistral AI, and many, many more. Just last month, even Amazon, we introduced new additions to Amazon's own foundational model called Titan. The pace of innovation we are seeing in this space is like unprecedented. At AWS, we were the first one to recognize no one model will rule them all. These foundational models will continue to evolve at an amazing speed, and customers will need the flexibility to use a combination of models for different use cases. Imagine if you're a retailer, you might want to use Anthropic's Claude model to generate a product description for a new shoe launch. But you may also want to use Stability AI's image generation stable diffusion model to present a unique background for your product image. Now, to enable more developers, not just machine learning scientists, to take advantage of GenAI, it should be easy to access and evaluate the AI models for each of your use cases. We believe that in the very near future, every developer needs to build GenAI applications because GenAI will be the fundamental part of every experience we create in the digital world. So how can we make this future a new reality? What would it take to create a seamless end-to-end customer experience that is powered by generative AI? And I talked about model choice, but in addition to model choice, you need lots more capabilities to build a GenAI applications. First, you need the ability to customize these models with your data. Next, you need the ability to be able to automate various tasks in your organization with GenAI. And finally, you also want the ability to leverage the built-in security and governance controls to mitigate any potential risk. And finally, you need the ability to scale the innovation without having to manage the infrastructure to run these large-scale models. Now, let's double-click on some of these today, starting with model customization. Now, when it comes to generative AI that know your business and your customers, your data is your differentiator. Data is the difference between a generic GenAI model-powered application and an application that knows your business and your customer. Now, you might be wondering, what is the best way to actually augment data with your models? There are a few different ways to how you can use your data to maximize their value. The easiest place to start is with a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. With RAG, the developers need to retrieve their own company data to add context or information to their prompts, using which they ultimately create better responses to their customer questions or requests. Now, you don't need to just stop with RAG. To further improve the accuracy of your model outputs, you can also use and update the out-of-the-box foundational models to create a fine-tuned model. With the process of fine-tuning, you're taking a small set of labeled data examples that is very specific to your company data to train the model with your corporate lingo and business policies. And then to take it one step further, you can change the underlying core parameters of the model through a process called continued pre-training. Continued pre-training means you pick up from where the model provider left off, and you train with unsupervised training with actually totally non-annotated data. This means essentially you are extending the model to be an expert in your company's knowledge base, just like how you are trained a custom model altogether. Now, I talked about all these three techniques. Not only do you need tools to support all these three forms of customization, but you also need to organize your data. What we have seen is that the companies that move fastest with GenAI are the companies that have the strong data foundations. These are the companies that typically store various types of data, including their vector data, that can be used for customizing models. And they have them integrated. And across all the use cases, they also use all the different variety of database tools all together with a well-governed manner as well. Now, let's talk about also task automation with generative AI. One of the most common time-consuming projects for AI developers is creating autonomous agents that help perform everyday tasks for your business and for your customers. For example, let's say a customer wants to exchange black shoes for brown shoes that they purchased through an online retailer. They use the site's customer service chatbot interface to communicate their request and confirm that their order returns were accepted and a new order was placed. This process seems incredibly simple, right? But to program such a thing, there is actually a lot of manual programming that is involved in creating even a GenAI-powered chat interface. First, to make this happen, developers need to go through a series of set of steps. And all of these are time-consuming. Like you need to define the instructions and orchestrate the set of workflows that you need to go through. You need to write custom code. And finally, you need to manage infrastructure to run these agents. All of this process can take weeks and require high level of machine learning expertise, being able to tweak the prompts appropriately. And that's what slows down the ability to leverage GenAI to do automation. And finally, let's look at security and governance. A common challenge when it comes to deploying a GenAI application is hallucination. These large language models have hyperparameters that can help manage them, but you can also use safeguards like system prompts to cite the sources for the model outputs so that you can actually get control of hallucinations. There are also new controls for data privacy. For enterprise-grade GenAI, your data should never be exposed to the core foundational models to train their base foundation model. Sending your company data to a third party is a large risk for any organization. And for higher risk applications, quality control is an absolute must. AI can help us make predictions, but not decisions, which is why human judgment is absolutely paramount when it comes to inference. Implementing all these best practices in a responsible manner is central to building trust with your customers. To build AI responsibly, you will also need to consider how you are going to monitor AI system behavior, prevent AI abuse, and implement educational programs to reskill your workforce. At AWS, we are investing heavily in responsible innovations that enable guardrails for these models, evaluation support, and watermarking, and many more. Now that we have covered a lot about what does it take to build GenAI applications, let me start explaining by how Amazon is meeting these needs for developers in one easy-to-use place. That is Amazon Bedrock. Bedrock is a fully managed service that makes it easy to build and scale your GenAI applications. And we recently announced that it is available in our Paris region. Tens of thousands of customers are already using Bedrock as the core foundation for their GenAI strategy because it gives them access to the broadest selection of foundational models from leading AI companies. And with the addition of a new feature in Bedrock called the custom model import, companies that are building their own foundational models can import onto Bedrock and leverage the rest of capability. We know that model choice is important, but what about all the other things that I talked about? In fact, what we have learned is that majority of Amazon Bedrock customers use more than one model, and this includes customers like Air Liquide, which leverages a variety of models on Bedrock to quickly prototype digital experiences. Now, beyond actually picking the right model, there are a bunch of other things that you need to streamline to build GenAI applications faster. And with tools like Bedrock, we are able to do things like knowledge bases for Bedrock or agents for Bedrock to do agent automation and built-in enterprise-grade security and privacy, and with support for various regulatory standards and GDPR. Now, by enabling every developer to build with GenAI really easy, every business will be able to move faster and innovate faster with GenAI. But if you want to harness the power of GenAI for everybody, you also need to make it easy for every employee, not just developers, to leverage it for their daily tasks. One way we can accomplish this is by leveraging GenAI assistants that integrate your enterprise data with an AI application, enabling you to quickly and easily take advantage of GenAI for accelerating employee productivity. These assistants can streamline various set of tasks just even today, right from helping a software developer to a data analyst to data scientist. We believe these assistants will provide enormous impact. In fact, the first set of area that is going to get really revolutionized is automating repetitive developer tasks. These assistants can remove the heavy lifting associated with software development, like coding, writing tests, app upgrades, and security scanning. They will also help employees access their information faster and get insights and take actions based on their insights. And these assistants also have the potential to help everyone build their own GenAI application. At AWS, we have invested in accelerating the productivity in each of these areas with our own GenAI-powered assistant called Amazon Q. Q is the most capable GenAI assistant available today. And we built it with security and privacy in mind right from the get-go. With Q, you can get your job done faster, whether you're in IT or in finance. Let me share a few examples on how you can put Q into action. With Q for developers, we are helping developers become more efficient across the entire app development cycle, right from planning to coding to testing to create data engineering pipelines. Q even comes with built-in agent capabilities to autonomously perform a wide variety of tasks, everything from implementing features to performing software upgrades. For example, let's say you want to ask Q to add a new checkout feature to your e-commerce app. It will analyze your existing code base and map out the implementation and execute the required code changes and tests in just minutes. I've been inspired by all of the positive feedback we are receiving for Q to date, and it is the #1 coding assistant in the SWE bench today. But accelerating productivity shouldn't just stop with developers. You want it to take it to every employee in an organization, and that's what Q for Business does. It connects to all your company data across more than 40+ enterprise systems, and it provides summaries, insights, and you can do analytics all in a secure fashion. But we wanted to take Q one step further, and we asked ourselves, how do we empower every business user to build their own application? So now, let's take a quick look at how we are bringing this vision to life.
Amazon Q Apps enables every employee to securely create apps upon enterprise data in seconds. Like Mary in HR, who needs to create an onboarding plan for a new hire. Amazon Q Apps identifies that this could be turned into a useful app. Mary likes the idea and goes ahead to create the app with just a single click. And Nikki in sales, who is browsing the Amazon Q Apps library for an app to help her pitch the company's wide range of products to her customers. She discovers an app created by her coworker. The app generates a custom sales script tailored to her request. This is teamwork without boundaries. Because with Amazon Q Apps, everyone can build.
So there it is. Amazon Q and Q apps will radically change how our customers and our employees can do their work every day. And now with this new era of GenAI discovery, there has never been a better time to be a builder. I believe that what you're inventing today and tomorrow can lead to a profound impact on the world, changing industries and changing everyone's lives. So while you're here, as you learn about the tools and partners to invent your next application and experience, please ask yourself, what magic will you build with GenAI? And now, I'd like to invite another builder to the stage who is building a magic of his own with latest foundational models. Please welcome Timothée Lacroix, co-founder of Mistral AI. So Tim, I know Mistral AI has been extremely popular. So let's talk about what inspired Mistral AI to start a new player in the AI space in France rather than, let's say, in the United States.
So I think there are two parts to this question. Why did we want to create a new player? I think we just wanted to do our own thing. We had been working at large tech companies for a while and wanted to get the speed and control over what we did. France really never was a question for us. We're French, all of our life is there, and there is a lot of talent there. So it wasn't really a question. And I think it doesn't prevent us from being a global company. We have offices in London and San Francisco. So.
OK, all right. Let's talk about what is the vision of Mistral AI and, and your vision for the future of artificial intelligence.
I mean, I hadn't seen your slides before, but it's pretty much the same as yours.
OK, glad we are aligned.
I think what I see in the near future is a lot more integration needs to be built. So all of this agentic function calling behavior will develop rapidly on the application layer. And on our end, we will build all of the tools that are required to actually act on these functions that are available. This will enable a wide variety of tasks. And with this variety comes the need for models that are optimized for the complexity of these tasks. So yeah, more agentic behaviors and more variety of models.
So when you talk about variety of models, you're talking about like different sizes of models or different vertical industries? How do you think about that?
Both. So anytime you verticalize or even fine-tune a model, what you unlock is better capabilities for a smaller size. Smaller size can mean either reduced cost or reduced latency, so better user experience. Verticalization, when it's done, for example, by us, is a bit more generic, but for the practitioner or model builder, it can enable some applications that are maybe easy to build with the larger models, but wouldn't have the right latencies or would be too expensive to put to product.
Yeah, so that's where you're talking about like different smaller sizes and being able to customize it with the kind of techniques we talked about, like fine-tuning and RAG and so forth. Now, being in the middle of all these innovation and building your own foundational models, what are you seeing as like major trends in artificial intelligence? Are we going to keep scaling forever? Is this going to be all about compute and data forever? Or are you going to see a different breakthrough? What do you see in the coming months and coming years, in your opinion?
I mean, people will always try to scale. I personally tend to be doubtful of infinite scaling. I don't think these things hold for a while. One limit that we run into quite quickly is the amount of data. Humanity has only been writing stuff for so long. Once we've read all of it, there is going to be a limit. So some breakthroughs will be needed, but I don't think we've seen the end of scaling yet. So that's one direction. The other is getting better at the lower end of the scale. I don't think we've done quite enough work on getting small models to do what they need. This is because we don't really understand the scope of what these models need. If you were to tell me, OK, I want a model in Alexa, what should it do? I don't think this has been built yet, and this will enable lots of research on smaller models as well.
Yeah. And I know we actually expanded our partnership, and Mistral AI is now available as part of Bedrock. How do you envision actually our customers, I mean, millions of customers that are innovating on AWS today will benefit from Mistral? What kind of things are possible?
So I think something that we've seen when building Mistral was that enterprise customers really want to build AI applications in their cloud of choice. They don't want to move out of it. So for customers, it's already an ability to get more choice on their current platform. I think one benefit of using Mistral models is the care that we put into always being on the efficiency frontier. All of our models, we strive to make them as good as possible for their cost. And especially in European languages with which we started, so French, English is wider than Europe, German, Spanish, Italian. These languages are really first-class citizens for us, and so performance might be even better when using Mistral AI models on these.
Yeah, I like that you're focusing a lot on the efficiency and add accuracy for a given use case, and also on languages that are not just always English-based. It makes GenAI more accessible. One final teaser question. What should customers expect from your future of Mistral AI in the coming months? Any spoilers?
I mean, I don't know if it's much of a spoiler. I think we're working on multimodal models, so this will happen, I think, reasonably soon. We're working on some verticalization on code as well. It's also the easiest for us because that's what we use every day. But more generally, I think our goal in the near future is to help with the hassle of customizing models, which I think today is still very complex. And we want to enable this for pretty much anyone to do at scale and up to prod.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks again for actually coming here and joining me today in this discussion. And thanks again for everyone in the audience for taking their time.